Good morning, everyone. I want to make it clear before I go into all of these long signals. The first two that I'm going to go over are excellent signals, and I wish that they were highly liquid. Sadly, they're not, so I can't say that these are great signals. But I tell you what, the CLAW, Claw, the Home Builders and Supplies bear 3 times. I always like whenever I'm heavily long to get hedges anytime a hedge produces a signal. So CLAW, even though it's illiquid overall, it's an ETF, so you'll get filled if you get filled if the index is anywhere near the prices intraday that it was at yesterday. But this stock showed up in my green bop for 20-day scan and my max green bop for 5-day scan, and then showed up in my tertiary scan, which means it was an automatic go for me. But so CLAW is a 2% inverse ETF long signal. I'm going long with the limit order at 1704, the high of the day close. And I only have one sell stop on the book, 1641. It moves below 1640. I'll be out of half of this ETF since it's a hedge. And then whatever the net new low is, if that 1641 is breached, will then become the final sell stop. And don't forget, I still have some hedges on the book: FAZ, FINZ, TVIZ, SCO in the margin account. Couldn't buy it in the cash account because it has limited partnerships. And I think that there's one more, but it's escaping my brain right now. But it doesn't matter. That might be it, actually. So, DXD. I have DXD still. It hasn't hit my final sell stops. So they're not big, but if the market does have a nasty sudden reversal off the highs, at least I do have a little bit of hedges. Not only do I have my rising profit stops, but I have that to help me with this very, very, very long portfolio. But CLAW by far, great signal. But two BOP scans, tertiary scan, it was great. If it was highly liquid, it would have been the price volume BOP surge scan. So it's quite a high quality signal for a hedge signal. But remember, it's illiquid, it's an ETF. It's not like this is an oversold RSI reversal play like CMLS was that made a 144% move off the lows to the recent closing highs the day before. So you're not going to get that in Claw, but still pretty darn good setup. Then there's RVSB. RVSB was only in my price volume BOP surge scan and then confirmed in my tertiary scan. But look at that BOP and volume surge with that bullish price reversal hammer candle on top of candle pattern right off the 200-day moving average. That's a great signal, folks. But sadly, RVSB is not Cancel quality, even though earnings per share grew 50% in the most recent quarter and sales grew 24% in the most recent quarter. That's excellent short-term growth. Still not a Cancel quality stock overall. Also very illiquid, so you can't load up on it. But I do like it a lot. I don't love it. If it had green BOP this entire time from the February on the pullback, then I would love the signal, even with the illiquid nature of this stock, only averaging about 35,000 shares a day. But as it is, got to take it as it is. Price volume BOP surge scan only, so it's a 1% long signal. 679 will be my limit. The high of the day is what I'll be using, 679, and only one stop, 650. It moves below 650, I'm out. Not out half, I'm out all. If it moves below 650, oh well. I'll have to wait for it to give me a buyback signal or set up again. And then besides those, so those are the two quality, quote, quote, positions. Neither are perfect, but they are definitely RVSB, like I told you, with the Can Slim. EPS sales growth, very, very, very nice technical pattern. Isn't beautiful, isn't great, but the volume and BOP surge like that is so noticeable to me that I'm always going to buy something that looks like this anytime you see anything like that. But, you know, it is what it is. So that's the quality. Now on to the speculative nature. We'll do CO first because CO showed up in my 20-day green BOP scan and my price volume BOP surge scan. But where it's triggering a long signal is quite iffy. The stock isn't symmetrical compared to the previous uptrend yet. The 50-day moving average is a little extended. So I was kind of hoping to see this thing extended from the 20-day moving average, because technically this is a 2% long signal, even though it's speculative. Those two scans, it's a trend following position. It's not an RSI momentum off of support kind of play. But you know what? It just looks weird. It's very weird technically. The 776 close is well enough off the 789 high day that I don't see a ton of conviction within the intraday price range today. It's technically a bullish candle over candle pattern, but the 776 close is at the exact same point of the 522 open of 776. So if the stock would have closed at 777, it would have been a technical bullish hammer candle over candle pattern, but as it is, it's just a bullish candle. Nice volume surge, and like I said, the green bop is nice, but it's just really weird to have max green bop for an extended period of time, then to barely lose it just for one day on below average volume, and boom, we're back to max green bop. That also is another odd thing overall. So since everything's odd about this stock, I'm going to treat it this way. And it's kind of overriding the system, but if I obey my stops as I'm going to obey them, my total dollar loss amount is going to be larger than I'm willing to risk. So I was going to buy 1,000 shares of this thing, but I'm only going to do 800. So instead of doing 2% of my account capital, it's going to be 1.5%. 1% for being in the price volume BOP surge scan, 0.5% for being confirmed in the BOP scan. Only because I like this chart I like this chart, but I don't like it a lot, and there's enough weird oddities in it that if I'm going to take it, I got to go a little bit smaller. Now, if you have a small account, you're looking for only the best kind of setups with the best potential risk-reward setups, RVSB might be the only one you want to do tonight. 10% of your capital in there. Obey my limit, obey my stop. CLAW might be just a little too illiquid. And CO, not good enough. And then there's ESES, too speculative overall, but I like it. I've got the capital, so I'm going along. ESES was in my max green BOP for 5 days scan, was not confirmed in the tertiary scan because of below average volume. Illiquid, but just like TCCO the day before, which I went long, ESES has the same pattern. Looks like it's rounding out, hooking up, bouncing right off support. A lot of beautiful green bop, and even when it lost the green bop, it never went red. I like that. There was no huge distribution before the pop here. So maybe it can get back to the 200-day moving average, and this high here is what I'm looking for, 197. But I want to go long. Limit order at 127, since it's only 1 cent off the high of the day, and the 20-day moving average is touching the intraday range. 127, and then there's only one stop. 116 right there. So it moves below 116 where all the green bop is, hits 115. I'm all out. And now the more complicated long position signal, MTBC. MTBC, love the chart pattern. Symmetry just isn't quite right. But you can see the intraday price range. 20-day moving average is touching that. I think the stock was at 192. The 20-day moving average is at 193. So my limit order is not at 209. It's at 210 since it's trend following, even though it's very speculative. So here's the deal with this one. MTBC made my green bop for 20-day scan. It had that weird thing also that CO had. Got max green bop forever, and then on just a normal low volume up day, somehow we lost max green bop, but we got it right back, and we held it the very next day. But this move here, let's kind of zoom in on it. Gosh, I don't know why that's not opening up. I want to open it up a little bit so we can see that open body bar. I don't know why it's not showing up. There it is. Okay, so you see the open body bar. So you can see that it opened at 205, closed at 209. That hence the open candle right here. And that's why it's a long signal, even though it's got low volume. This green bop is good enough. It looks like it maybe is ready to go early. It reminds me of APOP, which I went long here. I was shaking out a half, but the second half is working so far. Hopefully, MTBC doesn't shake me out a half before working higher. But what I want to do here, I want to go long. Limit order at 210 since it's touching the 20-day moving average, and I really like the technical pattern. But it's a trend following position, so it's 1% of my account capital, but this is a very volatile name. So I'm using multiple stops with my 210 limit order. My first stop is going to be here at 192. My second stop is going to be here at 170. My third stop is going to be here at 166. and then I'll have an ultimate stop right here at 143, but I'm also contemplating 134 just because what does it matter a few extra cents whenever I'm already out of 3/4 of it. But MTBC, this is a high momentum stock, trend following, so that's why 1%, but since it's such a larger overall position for the inherent risk, I've got to split some stops up, some tight, some loose. We'll see how it works out. Great luck out there today, everyone. I wish you the best.